Great week for the Yotes, beating number one Omaha at home. When you have 4 or 5 on the road and that's your one home game, little stressful, right? And we're just about to finish up the tail end of it with Denver and Oral Roberts. And then I think we can get some momentum going. We have 4 or 6 at home to finish the year. But going back to the Omaha game, first half, it was kind of a tale of two halves, right? It basically flipped from the first half to the second half. First half, obviously the defense wasn't really going, made some crucial mistakes. We made some adjustments at halftime. I thought we played really well in the second half, held them to 37 points, and our offense got going. Obviously, Dre was a huge part of that, having 31. And I said this at the Coyote Report, but I didn't know when he was going to get the cast off his thumb, and I just said when he does, he's going to start shooting it because he led the country in three-point shooting last year at 50%, and gave him the start and obviously played really, really well. So good week for us. Obviously got a lot to look forward to this week with 2 road games. It's always really hard to win on the road. Denver's a tough trip. Had a tough game there last year, and it's always really hard to play in Tulsa. So got a big week ahead of us and look forward to it.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Good. You mentioned Dre and him getting cast off and having his best performance of the season. We've seen flashes of it already. Just going forward, what will be the key to putting him in those positions to continue having performances like that?
Yeah. Well, he's still going to start, right? It's hard to change your starting lineup when you win. I think with Dre, it's continuing to develop confidence, right? Sometimes when you break your hand and you're a shooter and he's a very ball and hand guy where a lot of his threes come off the bounce, right? So catching is hard. Dribbling with your left hand is really hard. And he just said, Coach, this is my last year. I want to play. I'm not going to sit. So cast that thing up and I'm going to figure out a way to play. And obviously with him out, it hurt us, right? Especially at Utah Tech. And then, just having that first game back against UMKC, I wish we could get that game back, but he wasn't himself, right? Never played with a cast on his hand. So I think part of it is, just breathing confidence in him. We know he can do it. We talk a lot about consistency within our team, but in life too, right? Being consistent in life. And, he's showing spurts where I think he had 18 or 19 in the first half against St. Thomas, and the second half was a non-factor. So just getting him some confidence, and that comes from practice, right? It comes from his teammates. It comes from our staff, right? And then just continuing to put him in those situations where he can succeed.
If he's playing at his peak, just how high is the ceiling?
Well, the ceiling is high, right? Like I talked about, we have 2 road games and we have 4 or 6 at home to finish the year. So if we can have some success this weekend on the road, I think that leads into we've been very good at home, right? So going into March, you want to be playing your best basketball. But Dre is by far the most athletic player I've ever coached, and I've coached at every level. Junior college, Division II, low major, mid-major, high major. He's a freak athlete. And he can do things that nobody else can do on this team, right? So to have another scoring option like him, if we can get Caleb going, Isaac can really score. Chase, you've seen what Chase can do. Ashton's been up and down, but when he's good, he's really good. And then, Paul Bruns is not a rookie in this league. He's been in the league for a long time. So just having multiple guys that can really score. We do need to get Caleb healthy, right? And, we need to continue to develop our bigs to truly reach our potential.
That you've already beaten. Just what will be the primary keys to picking up 2 road wins against teams you've already beaten?
Yeah, winning on the road is hard, right? Denver has won 2 of their last 3, I believe. So they're playing better. They're playing well. They've had some injuries, and some of the young guys are getting a lot better. And then they threw a big in there, I think, right after Christmas that hadn't played and is a freshman, and he's playing a lot better. He's a 7-footer that can alter shots in the paint. He's starting to score a little bit on the block. So they're significantly better. And then, Oral Roberts has struggled. They just beat UMKC, but they have one of the best scoring guards in the league. So I think part of it is just trying to be consistent, right? With both those teams, we jumped on them, let them back in the game, right? And then it kind of became a game. Winning on the road is really hard. So we can't have those like at UND where we gave up 50 points in the first half and we came storming back. We got to be better in the first half. Our starts have to be better for us to have a chance to win on the road.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Go ahead. Yeah, just one from me today, Coach. We've talked a lot about your guys' offense, your press, but how have you seen your team develop defensively as the season's going on?
Well, if you watch the second half of UND and the second half against Omaha, I think you can see what we're capable of doing, right? I think in the first half, we kind of lose our minds a little bit where we're doing stuff that we typically don't do. And I always say, just do what we do. When we do what we do, we're pretty good at it, right? And probably the second half, I think, when the press wears people down, they start making some mistakes, so our defense does look better. But we don't do anything that's like earth-shattering on defense other than the press, right? So in the half court, we defend how we defend every single game. We don't really change it up. So just trying to be more consistent defensively, I think, is the key. And when we're in the right spot, we usually make the right play, right? But we got to get our guys to the right spot. So a lot of it is at practice. We work a ton on the press, right? Because that's our main deal. And it kind of takes some stuff away from the half court. And now our press, I think everybody feels comfortable with it. So now it needs to shift to the half court where we're getting more reps at practice and just putting guys in situations that they would see in a game in practice, which I think will help us the second half of the conference season.